This is episode number 95 of the Homeowners Show. Whether you're DIY or looking to hire, we're here to help you find the best information and options for you and your home. My name is Kevin Hackett, and here with me is Craig Williams.
Hello, and welcome to Homeowners Show. We're glad that you could jump on the old bandwagon.
Jump on the bandwagon. Here you are. Glad you're here.
For the Homeowner Show.
That's right.
So, how you doing, Kev?
Man, I am fantastic.
Yes?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
I need to know what it is so that I know if I have the power to take it away.
All I know is that today was one of those days where you're in the office and you're like, I got nothing to do. So I got an intern now.
Uh-huh.
And so I just let him do all the work.
You got every reason to slack off now.
Yeah, so I'm letting him do all the work, and I looked up and I went, well, we don't really have much to do today because it's already all done. So
all you got left to do now is get the old Corona.
Well, you know what? If that happens, I'm blaming you.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I could be a what is it when you asymptomatic, right?
Oh yeah, that's probably me anyway. I think I already had it back in February. Not real sure, but I couldn't breathe and I coughed a lot.
There you
go. So anyway, I'm probably
Corona Kevin.
Corona Kevin.
Yeah. I actually heard a deal today where a doctor was saying, I can't remember who it was. Don't ask me to remember facts, folks. But the general idea was like, look, at this point, you've been exposed to it. It's not that you haven't been exposed to it. It's that your immune system worked properly.
Yeah. I would hope that my immune system worked properly. And I'll tell you, like, for me, I'm the guy that if I get sick, I get really, really sick because I don't get sick. And so whenever I do, my body's like, and I hate you. So you're going to get sick. You're going to be done for like 3 days. You're going to run a high fever. I mean, I was a kid that at one point I was running like 105 fever.
Right.
I'd be taken to the hospital. That was me, because I just didn't get sick that often. When I did, it was bad.
So all this Corona stuff is front of mind. We just got back from a trip to Arkansas to Fairfield Bay, Greers Ferry Lake.
Which I love because I moved from there basically.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's absolutely. Which I talked to several locals while I was there, and apparently they were like, according to like active cases of coronavirus, they're like number 2, like next to New York.
Ugh,
and
it's crazy.
So and here was the other crazy thing I heard from that doctor was like apparently like 70% of Americans are vitamin D deficient. And so
is that just because we're not outside enough?
Well, that's part of it. But then what happened is you put everybody in quarantine and tell them don't go outside.
Yep.
So then they're still not getting vitamin D, which compromises their immune systems even further, which makes them more vulnerable. So all this kind of stuff.
See, I don't know. My kids ought to be fine then because I was like, go outside. You need to go outside for a little while.
And we're not giving you the code to the electric lock.
That's right. That's right. Those Schlage locks that we reviewed way back when, they did their job.
I kept my kids outside.
That's right.
But no, man, we took a trip, right? Which is we didn't fly, so we didn't have to like quarantine ourselves.
Right. But congratulations. Being able to go somewhere. Huge accomplishment.
Yeah, no, it was. There wasn't. They were still in phase 1, so there were no restaurants really open. You could go to them, but you had to have face masks, and we didn't have any face masks because we were planning on hiking the whole time we were there. Didn't really occur to us. But man, what a fun trip!
Yeah.
And so my big thing was waterfalls. I just wanted to go see a bunch of waterfalls. There's a ton of waterfalls there. But honestly, the first one we went to.
Did you chase them?
I did.
Did you?
I did not follow the advice.
Okay, just
of who's saying that?
TLC.
Stupid TLC. Yeah, sorry, girls.
Right. I'm sure they're listening right now.
They're huge fans.
Yeah.
So, although they probably ran out of their one-hit wonder money, I don't know if they own a home or not. So
yeah, who knows?
But so I chased the waterfalls.
Yeah, good. Congratulations.
So, and it's not as bad as they made it out to be. I may do it again.
Yeah, you also found the rivers and streams, didn't you?
I did.
Okay.
Which is how I found the waterfalls. The song makes no sense.
Yeah, no, they're idiots.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about.
No.
But anyway, the first one that we went to was just and it wasn't really a waterfall as much as it was a massive spring just shooting out of the side of a rock that met up with a stream that was already there. and the water was probably like 55 degrees.
Yeah.
And we went in, me and my son kind of went up to about our chest. But there was a huge disclaimer by the spring that said, whatever you do, don't drink the water. And then it went on to explain, because the mouth opening of the spring was massive. And it was probably 15 feet in diameter.
Wow.
Yeah, it was big. And they said what's gone on over the years is it's become a bat cave. And so as the bats die, they fall in the water, and then they poop in the water, and they do all this, all the guano in the water. So it's really not healthy to drink that water.
Unless you want the Rona.
Yeah, the bat Rona.
That's where it comes from, y'all. It comes from bat Rona.
So we didn't drink the water, but we got in the water.
Yeah.
And I love getting in cold mountain pools, and yeah. So I climbed all the way across it, and yeah,
now,
we did a lot of hiking.
How did you keep your youngest daughter out of the water and safe?
I did tell you about that. Yeah. So there was a second waterfall after that one, and my youngest is 5, is an extremely good swimmer. She actually prefers to go underwater, and she can probably go, 30 or 40 yards holding her breath.
Yeah.
I mean, she's an incredible swimmer. And so she saw the second waterfall and just wanted to get in the middle of it. And so I had to latch my arm onto a rock and hold on to her so that she could get out in the middle of this waterfall. She just wanted to get out in the middle of the water. And so my wife's over here. She's like, I'm not looking. I'm not watching. I've already told you not to do that. You're obviously not listening to me. So I'm just dangling this 5-year-old because she was going to do it regardless. So I was like, well, you got to hang on to Dad.
Yep.
So we did. And we got some good pictures of it.
Yeah.
So...
Well, she's going to do what she wants to. Well,
Yep.
I mean, she's got a mind of her own. As most people do, she just really listens.
We don't call her Porcupine for nothing.
That's true.
So
That's true.
she earned that badge.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
But-
cool. It sounds like a fun trip.
It was a fantastic trip. I highly recommend it if you ever get the chance. Greers Ferry Bay, Mountain View, Clinton, Arkansas. It's a fantastic
So
resort destination. Honestly,
Yeah, so y'all did one of the things that I kind of recommended. I mean, I didn't really realize where y'all were going, but once you got there, I was like, you got to go to Mountain View.
Oh, yeah.
Which you were already planning on kind of going through Mountain View,
Yeah.
but I was like, you've got to go to Mountain View on a weekend in the evening and go downtown, because it is one of the most unique experiences that you will ever have. Because when you show up, depending on when you get there are probably already people there in just these locations around this downtown area, and there's people circled up around them. They bring their chairs. There's these little gazebos everywhere, and they're all playing bluegrass music.
Yep.
They're just all singing and
Well, they might be offended by that. I mean, actually, because it's
folk.
folk music is what they say.
It's definitely folk music, but it's bluegrass.
It is. They're playing a lot of bluegrass.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I actually had a lady, I posted some pictures up of that, and I had a lady reach out to me, saw my pictures from Mountain View. I was sitting around with some guys playing, and she sent me a little note and said, yeah, my uncle is so-and-so, and we used to play with him there all the time.
Wow.
And she said it like I should know who he was, and I was like, so I better look this guy up. And I looked him up, and he's like this famous folk songwriter. He's written over 6,000 songs.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. I'll have to show it to you later on after the show. And she was like, yeah, me and my sister used to go sing with him all the time in Mountain View.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. Saturday night, I mean, I bet you there was 500 or 600 people in that town,
Oh,
and
yeah.
200 of them had guitars and fiddles and upright basses, and
Yep.
so cool.
And I'm kind of sad you didn't have your guitar with you, because you would have been welcome to join in.
So I'll tell you real quick, just short. I went to the music shop because once I saw what was going on, I was like, all right, maybe I do want to join in.
Yeah. I'll
And
buy something if I have to.
so I walked in the store, and I kind of walked around for a minute, and I didn't see anything my size. And so I kind of walked to the front, and I was like, so don't have many lefties come through here, do you? And she goes, no, we make left-handed people learn how to play right-handed, the right way. And I was like, all right, peace out, lady who doesn't want my money.
Wow.
I'll take your guitar bigotry elsewhere.
Yeah, you might as well bind your feet while you're at it, you know? Gosh. Wow. Oh, well, Mountain View, hey.
Yeah.
They're
I may not
their
have
own
been
place.
welcome. I could have been like, the devil guitar player. I don't know.
Oh, they like that song, actually. The one that went down, all the way down to Georgia, they like that song.
They like that song.
Yeah.
They've got the people that can play it.
Oh, I know.
So
It's incredible.
anyway, I just did that again. I made that loud noise. I'm going to stop. I'm going to take my ring off. Sorry, everyone. I already scared our guest once.
That's right.
So, all right. We have a really cool show because we have my friend Kristy in the studio to join us and talk about building homes.
Yes.
This is so cool. How you doing, Kristy?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. We are so glad that you could join us. We've been talking. We had scheduled this
Yes.
pre-Rona.
We did.
That's going to become
Pre-Rona.
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 We need to like hashtag that. We need to get that rolling out there.
Hashtag pre-Rona.
That's right. So we had this interview scheduled pre-Rona, and then everything blew up and stuff. So we had to reschedule. So
Yeah.
we're excited to finally get to be doing this because this is not a topic we've covered in the soon to be 100 episodes.
Woohoo.
So we've talked about pieces of the house.
Right.
But I told you when we were kind of doing a little bit of pre-show, I was going to go ahead and just address the elephant in the room, right? So you're a home builder,
I am.
but you're not a dude.
I am not a dude. Not a dude.
So-
Don't even look like a dude.
Not at all.
Not even close.
No. So this is kind of like a unique thing. I mean, like there's not too. And have you ever met another woman?
I have not. I'm actually on a Facebook group that is like Lady Pros is
Okay.
I think the Facebook group, but it's mostly HVAC plumbers, that just tradespeople. But I did post the question out there one time
Yeah.
and said, how many of y'all are actually general contractors?
Mm-hmm.
And I got a few responses back, but the responses were, it's me and my husband.
Okay.
So it is not me and my husband. The
That doesn't
husband does
count.
not. Yeah, no, it doesn't count. No, that's right. I mean, unless you think it counts, then of course it counts. Don't want to offend anyone out there.
Now, let's just go ahead and pull that Band-Aid
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. Right.
No, but yeah,
Offense.
That's right.
right off the bat, huh? Yeah, no. So my husband doesn't work with me. He doesn't really know much about residential construction at all. But yeah, so it's just me.
All right. So and how long you been doing this now?
So I started my own business probably about 17 years ago.
Okay.
But I started in different facets. Prior to that, I had worked in construction industry for different people and doing different things. But I started doing murals and faux finishes. And then while I was doing that, I also had my daughter. She was a baby. So I was taking classes online through the Art Institute. And I got my degree in interior design.
Okay.
And the thought process was that I would be picking out draperies and furniture and that sort of thing. And then I started working for other contractors, and I would help their clients pick out plumbing fixtures and lighting fixtures, and just helping them kind of do the construction part of the design work. But I had so much knowledge in the construction industry that it just very easily moved over. So I
Yeah.
started doing the remodeling. And then last year is when we started doing the new construction as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have done several like ground to ceiling now houses, right?
No, this is our first one that we're doing
Okay.
now. Yeah, we haven't broken ground on it yet. We signed a contract with the homeowner last June.
Okay.
So it's taken a while,
yeah.
but it's an amazing home that we're going to be doing. It's in the Bel Air area. It's in Meyerland.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's a way to overcome the flooding problem that they have in Houston. So this is a Harvey flood.
Okay.
And the house was completely
It was demoed.
destroyed. Yeah. So it's demoed, and the house is actually going to be framed with a pre-engineered metal building.
Okay.
And then underneath is basically storage, parking, and an elevator. And the elevator takes her up to the homeowner to the first floor. It starts. Yeah. The first floor is actually 11 and a half feet off the ground.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't think we're going to have a problem with that flooding.
No, it won't. She can stand on the balcony and watch the floodwaters go underneath her, and The
Yeah.
only thing that would have any damage would be vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to the closed-minded lady in Mountain View. The largest left-handed guitar shop in the world is in Bel Air.
Oh,
Take that.
I hope you're listening.
I don't need you.
My daughter's a lefty.
Is she?
Yeah.
Does she
yeah.
play?
She plays the ukulele.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are
She-
not easy to find either.
Yeah, she has 6 ukuleles, but I think she plays right-handed.
Oh, yeah?
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm left-handed as well. So bizarre fact: Craig and I are both left-handed, but I play right-handed.
Okay.
So.
She does mostly everything right-handed
Uh-huh.
except writing.
Yeah.
And I even noticed, because she works with me in the office now, she's my newest employee, and she works with me in the office, and I noticed that she even like uses her computer mouse right-handed.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, it actually makes sense if you think about it, because she can take notes with her left hand,
Yep.
mouse with the right hand.
Yeah.
So
Well, most of us lefties, we adapt
yes,
because the world is not made for
I
us.
They hate us.
I know. My mom's a lefty. I've had to hear that my whole life,
Yeah.
that the world is not made for left-handed people. All the doors are backwards, and
Unless you're a first baseman or a healer.
That's right. Or a pitcher.
oh,
Pitchers.
baseball. We're talking baseball.
Well, baseball is first base, but then healer is rodeo.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know rodeo.
So
Yeah.
the guy that gets the
Yeah,
legs.
Yeah, I know that.
So
Okay.
those are pretty much always left-handed guys,
Yeah.
or the good
Really?
ones are.
Yeah.
So
Interesting fact.
they're faster because they're on the right side.
Okay. There's a whole mechanics to
There's a
this
whole-
that
yeah,
I
there is,
don't know.
yeah.
I just sit in the stands and watch, so.
That's right.
As long as I'm not the cow, I'm good.
That's right.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, let's talk just a little bit about. You've told us a little bit about how you got into this. What made you really decide this is the direction that I want to go? I mean, you have some background here, but was there anything that kind of made you go, okay, I think I could do this?
Well, I hate picking out furniture for people, for one. I can't make the connection with them that quickly. And I've always, just my past experience was in like plumbing, high-end plumbing fixtures and tile. You said Hakeem Olajuwon earlier. The place I worked for actually did Hakeem Olajuwon's house. So,
wow.
yeah, baseball. We did Lance Berkman's house too. I had Lance Berkman in our showroom sitting on toilets. I wish I could have taken pictures of that.
That's awesome.
Could not do that. He had to sit on the toilets because he wanted to know that the height was perfect for him. So, yeah, it was kind of crazy to have that. But yeah, I've gravitated toward the kind of mechanics of it, just the plumbing fixtures and the tile and paint and flooring. I mean, lighting fixtures, all of that stuff. I really can appreciate the different lines and just how things kind of come together. And with remodeling or new construction, it's really it's a growing, living project. So with the furniture, it's kind of like we have to come in and do it right away. But with the remodeling, it just kind of runs simultaneously as we're doing the construction part. And sometimes we'll come up with ideas mid-construction. And so that's what I really like, is just that problem solving, just trying to really kind of figure out, like, how can we maximize this? How can we make this the best space for our clients? And really just use every part of the home that we can.
So you mentioned plumbing fixtures and Lance Berkman sitting on the toilet, which
I hope he doesn't listen to this show.
we'll
That was a
find
long
out.
time ago.
I actually hope that he does. To be honest,
We need
He
him to
is a homeowner,
We need him
so
to confirm.
that's right.
No, but Kevin and I had a theory, and I don't know if we're like how many episodes ago we talked about it, but like we actually had this theory that because of the whole toilet paper crisis that was going on, we were going to see a surge in people having an interest in bidets. And today I said, Kevin, what was it called? Tushy?
Yeah.
Which is a plumbing fixture attachment for the toilet that
Yeah.
turns it into a bidet.
Yeah.
Have you seen people like asking about these?
So we actually do a lot what we call bidet seats.
Uh-huh.
So it's your regular toilet, but we actually attach a seat to it that has all the functions of a bidet.
Yeah, that's what the tushy thing is. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what it was.
And
It
we were
goes
doing
right
those
under your
before
tushy.
this. Yeah. Some people really, really like them. So yeah, I did one for a client client, and she said that that's pretty much the only toilet in the house that everyone uses.
Oh, wow.
It's
That's
in her
funny.
master bathroom, yeah.
Well,
Some of them have plugs, so you have to put electrical in there, but some of them don't, so it just depends.
Well, I was actually I was on Facebook this afternoon for a few minutes, and one of my friends was she was ranting, which she does every once in a while. It's really funny to listen to her rant, but she was ranting about toilet paper. So she went into the grocery store, found toilet paper. She was really excited, but it was $39.
Oh,
And it was
cow.
it was 30 rolls of toilet paper, but it equaled 120 mega rolls. And she was like,
Toilet paper math.
yeah, and she was like, I don't care how many mega rolls it equals. Only one roll goes on my dispenser at a time. So I paid about $1.50 for every single roll that I got. That is way too much toilet paper. She's like, I'm going to Amazon and seeing if they got the bidets back in stock.
Yeah.
And then that segment was over, and I was like, bidets, like that's twice in a day
Yeah.
that I've heard about a bidet.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. We've done them pre-Rona. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, pre-Rona.
Pre-Rona.
Hashtag
Yeah.
pre-Rona.
Yeah, we did it.
Pre-Rona.
We did it pre-Rona. So.
Yeah, we don't need to say that very often because then I'm going to have to sing it. So
okay.
let's not say that very
Yeah,
often.
yeah. All right. I'll take that out of the vocabulary right away.
Still hashtag.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I think this is going to be a thing. I mean, like, I really do. I think a lot of people are going to be like, you remember the toilet paper shortage?
Yeah, that'll never happen again. I will never be without toilet paper again.
The real Rona crisis.
Yes,
I see them in lots of clients' homes. I just don't know that they use them or not. But I think it'd be nice to have that as the option if you couldn't find any paper.
Yeah.
So
we've done them. They're not for everyone, but yeah.
Is it a pretty big expense if you're redoing a bathroom? I guess is that a pretty big expense to add on?
Not really. I mean, if you get one that has a plug that has to plug into the wall, then we have to run electrical in there. But that's not a huge expense. There's some sheetrock repair that goes into that. You know, unless you just happen to have a plug in your where your toilet is.
Right next to the toilet.
Yeah, it's ultra safe.
Actually,
I tell you.
I mean, when you think about it, you get one of those that has a little plug for your phone.
Yeah,
hey,
you don't have to leave.
Never leave.
You could do this show.
That's right.
That's true. that brings up a whole nother conversation.
I'm glad I'm doing this
The
now
acoustics
and
are
not
amazing.
later.
That's right. Hey, whenever I start singing the pre-Rona song, it's so much better. Oh, goodness.
See, you were nervous and didn't even know we were going to be talking about bidets, and you know
I know
exactly what you're talking about.
This is crazy now. This is what I came on here to talk about. Toilets. Thanks, guys.
As she's preparing for this show, she was like, all the things they're going to ask me, bidet never crossed your mind?
Toilet
Wow.
talk was not what I thought we were
could
going
call
to
the
do.
bidet the Rona modes.
That's so, man. Why? I don't know. We've got a new line, guys.
That's right. We got a
coming
new
out.
product.
There's Tushies.
Kristy's going to install them for us,
That's right.
and they're not going to need an electrical outlet.
Yeah. No electrical.
Of course not. Of course not. They're
Totally
gonna be
safe.
They're going to be self-charging,
Oh,
actually.
jeez. Yeah.
We are way off topic.
We did not.
We've gone off the rails, into the ditch, up the other side of the ditch. We're gone.
It's all right, but we ended up with Rona mode.
That's true.
So, it's all
Coming to a Home Depot.
It's in the
near
W
you.
column.
That's right. Absolutely.
All right, Kristy, bring us back here a little bit. So,
Sure.
if you're helping people pick out fixtures, and you're helping baseball players pick out toilets and all these other, how do you help guide them through that process? Because I imagine that can be a little daunting for people that may have not done that before, or they don't even sometimes know what they want.
Yeah. Well, and the problem is with some contractors, what they'll do is, if they don't have that design background, or if they don't have time to do that, because a lot of them are so busy that they can't actually take that time with the client, is they'll just tell the client, hey, you need 2 bathroom faucets. Well, when you Google search bathroom faucets, it's like 225,000 different searches, and it's like, what's going to go with the tile, which is got to go with the, what's the wall treatments, all that. It all has to kind of tie in together. But really, it's just about talking to the client, just seeing how they want to use the space. Do they entertain a lot? Is there going to be a lot of people there? Do they have kids? Do they have dogs? What is the feeling that they want people to have when they walk into their room? Do they, some people want everyone to be jealous of their house. Some people want a cozy comfort feeling. Some people want their guests to stay for 2 days and then hit the road. It's just depends on what they're actually wanting. And so it's really just about talking to them and looking at their house, how they have it furnished, the different, colors that they use, and asking them what's their favorite thing in a certain room, or, what's the color that they hate the most, because obviously if you hate orange, we don't want to put orange in your bathroom, but it's really just a discovery of what the client likes.
Have you put orange in a bathroom?
I don't think I have.
Okay.
Well, she doesn't live in Austin. So if she lived in Austin, I'm sure she would.
Double win.
Yeah. Or double lose.
It is supposedly my husband's favorite color, because when my daughter was really little, she hated the orange, like Skittles or, any of those candies. And so we would always say, oh, Daddy's favorite color is orange. And so we would.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then when she grew up and found out that wasn't true, she was a
trick.
little mad, actually.
These are good.
She was like, wait a minute, orange is not Daddy's favorite color? I'm like, no, he actually hates that color.
Between that and Santa Claus, that girl is ruined.
No, therapy, hello.
That's right. Okay, so you brought up something that to me, because I've actually considered my wife and I have considered, okay, one day we would love to build our house. Like, for us, we kind of love the idea of a metal building, a barn type of home, but there's part of that process to me that seems really daunting. Just seems like there's so much that goes into it, and I think one of the issues there is people are so specialized a lot of times that it's difficult to find someone who can help you navigate the whole process.
Right.
And I know some home builders can do that better than others. So I guess one of the things that I want to ask you, I mean, not everybody that listens to us lives in Houston.
Right.
So if I was out there looking for someone, how do I find out if they're going to be able to really guide me through that whole process, or if I'm going to be stuck, 100 days into this going, I wish I would have done something different, know?
Yeah. You really need to ask your contractor questions. You need to ask them what the process is. Most contractors are going to have a certain way that they work. And so you need to say, hey, do you have something that tells us where we go from here? What is our next step? What's the process? And, there are some great builders out there that have design centers, and they have people that work in the design centers. So, if they say we have a design center and you'll be able to come and pick things out, then you kind of know, okay, these are kind of my options. The only issue with having a design center is you're kind of limited to whatever it is that they have.
Yeah.
If you're using someone like me, I'll keep going and looking for tile until we find the perfect tile, one that I think should go in the home, but also something that you love. So, and you just really have to ask your contractor, how much of this work am I going to have to do on my own, and how much are you going to help me with?
Yeah, and I would assume that on some level, all of this really depends on you as a person too. How involved do you want to actually be? Because I would assume that there are some people out there that's like, listen, here's the type of thing I want, but I don't have time. I don't have the energy. I just want it to be wonderful.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's frustrating on some level to you as the builder. But then there's that whole other spectrum, and you just kind of have to know about yourself. Like, I want to be super involved in this, and I'm real picky, or I'm not real picky. And because, like you said, those design center places, they're going to sell you their stuff.
Right.
And they're getting a commission off of that, and they're getting a cut, right?
Yeah.
And so you get, 4 choices of colors, and that's really
it's here's our door styles. Pick one of the door styles. Here's backsplash tile. Pick, you've got 10 to choose from. So
and there's not necessarily anything wrong with that.
No,
because a lot
not
of
at
times
all.
they're very popular styles and things that people typically are going to choose, right?
And your home's going to turn out beautiful that way. I mean, it's still going to be very, very pretty. But what we are more about is custom remodeling, custom new construction. Everything that comes into your house is a new idea. We're constantly looking at, I mean, even Pinterest. Pinterest is an amazing place to look at new ideas. I mean, there's tons of stuff to look on there. So I'm constantly on Pinterest looking at it, finding new client ideas, even if I don't have a particular client yet, just trying to see kind of what can we do to make the next house different. Because, you know, we do kind of get in trends a little bit. A lot of people right now, everybody wants quartz countertops. And so they're very pretty. And I love the quartz. It gives you that white look that, you know, everybody's kind of going after.
Talking about like the black and white look everybody's going for?
Yeah, kind of the quartz countertops it's a man-made material, but it kind of mimics marble.
Right.
And it's durable. It doesn't stain. So, I mean, it's a great choice. But I don't want to do that in every home.
Right.
You know, so if I feel like it's a perfect fit for your home, then yes, I'm going to say, hey, I think that quartz is going to look fantastic in here. I mean, I've done a few kitchens with it lately, and it's just been beautiful. But then there are some people where I'm like, I think you need a little bit more warmth. You need to kind of add a little bit more texture, visual texture. You know, and granite is one of those things where it's just timeless. I mean, granite's going to last forever. So you just have to really talk to your client and find out what it is that they want.
Yeah. And there's like you know, Pinterest is interesting too, because like you can think that you have a really unique idea. And if you go look on there, you're probably going to find like 100 versions of that.
Yeah.
I remember when we were doing our bathroom, one of the ideas we had was doing like a whiskey barrel sink.
Oh, yeah.
And we were like, oh, that's kind of a unique. And then there was like 100 of them on there.
You can find those everywhere. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And you had a great idea that everyone else had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and it's true. It does. I mean, there are a lot of things where you think you have like the unique idea. So, and you just, it's hard to have a unique idea now. There's so many creative people now and so many, and there's so much information, because if you think about 20 years ago, you may have thought you had a unique idea. And if you didn't, I mean, there was no way to look that up. So unless it was in the Encyclopedia Britannica,
right,
you did have a unique idea.
Well,
so.
I think even though you see it on Pinterest, it doesn't mean that it's not a unique idea. Because most people aren't willing to because once they get the price tag for those unique items, it becomes completely irrational for their budget.
Right.
And so for us, like with the barrel, it wasn't the cost of it. It was just like, this is hard.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not an easy thing.
Right.
Although now I think you can just buy those
You
sinks
can.
with it.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can. There's guys
It's
out
like a
there.
whole kit.
Yeah, they make them for you. But I mean, those are. I mean, like I think when I looked at them, this was several months. It was like $1,500 just for that whole thing.
Yeah.
So, which I mean, like if I had to make it, yeah, that's probably what I'd charge.
And they're probably using like an authentic whiskey barrel.
Right.
That's been, you can tell everybody, oh, this had whatever awesome whiskey in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
I don't drink whiskey, so I can't tell you what that awesome whiskey is. But
one of the beauties about Pinterest though is that even if you do have a mostly unique thing, idea out there, you have the ability to refine that.
Right.
And it's like someone's probably done that better than you would have imagined doing it. And so just getting ideas about how to do that really well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really great to take someone's idea and maybe even improve on it a little bit. Sometimes.
Well, and sorry, and even on the other sense of that, it's sometimes I'm troubleshooting something. I'm like, I don't know how we're going to finish this off. And so then I'll look at Pinterest and be like, oh, look, that was kind of interesting how they, used this piece of molding here. Or, it does give me ideas that maybe I'm not using it exactly how they did, but I can look at parts of the picture. Mm-hmm. And that's really what I tell my clients too. I'm like, send me your Pinterest boards, because everybody's making a Pinterest board.
Right.
So send me your Pinterest boards, because I can learn so much about them from the Pinterest boards. And
pick up on themes.
Because you'll start to see things are kind of the same and they're kind of working together. And it's like I could really pick from any of these and we would be fine. But, I do in that, because when you look at Pinterest boards, sometimes you can see like where a trend is kind of coming. And that's something I try to stay away from. I don't want to spend $35,000 remodeling a master bathroom, and then 5 years from now it's dated and they're wishing they would have done something different.
Yeah.
So it's kind of my job to say, look, this is you're kind of on like the front end of a trend, which is fine, because then you've got 10, 15 years, and Or if you're on the tail end of a trend, I might say, okay, we're kind of,
Yeah.
people are kind of shying away from those colors or those types of fixtures.
Well, and so you're kind of on the front lines of this stuff. What are some trends that you see kind of going by the wayside?
Gray. Nobody wants gray anymore.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
is funny because for a while, that's the only thing people were doing was gray, right?
Yeah, and so what happens is you don't know what's going to necessarily be a trend. It's just that somebody sees something gray, and what makes it a trend is that then everybody wants to do gray.
Right.
So after you do 10 gray bathrooms, it's kind of like, well, everybody has gray. And
Yeah.
then, you're no longer special if you go into all of your friends' bathrooms and they all have gray bathrooms. So now it's like, okay, well, what can I do that's a little different than that? So now people are going to taupe, which
Okay.
is not brown, but not gray. It's kind of in the middle.
Yeah, okay, like a
Yeah.
muddled.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a brownish
It's
gray.
bray.
It's bray. Yeah,
Yeah, bray.
Grayish, as
Grayish.
they say.
That's good. Yeah, good.
yeah. So, but yeah, and I think oil rub bronze fixtures are kind of I'm removing those a lot lately as
Okay.
well.
What are they replacing them with?
Usually either brushed nickel,
yeah.
or even chrome. It just depends on. Chrome is kind of more glam, so it just depends on what the space is and
Yeah.
if you're sharing it with
Nobody's
your
bringing the
husband.
brass back.
Actually, we're doing some brushed gold,
Okay.
which that I think we're kind of on the front end of that. I don't know if it's actually going to be a trend. That's one of those things that you really have to love it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely gorgeous, though. I'm doing 3 bathrooms right now with it, and it's breathtakingly beautiful. But you have to be someone who's willing to take that risk.
Yeah.
And so
I'm not that person. Give me the brush nickel.
leap into it.
I'd have to. Like, you'd have to build it and then show it to me.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I wouldn't want it.
Yeah.
Well, gold's one of those tricky things. When I went to the Ukraine once, have you ever seen like gold from different parts of the world?
Yeah.
So like gold from like Ukraine and that part of Russia is pink, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, like a rose gold almost. Yeah.
And it's a totally different look. It's a totally different hue. But I could see people and like all their jewelry and stuff is that color.
Yeah.
And so like they're actually fascinated by ours when they're like the yellow
Right.
gold.
Yeah.
But that pink gold has like a really interesting.
Yeah.
It's not bright though.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because my husband works for a company that's in India.
Okay.
So there's a ton of gold in India as
Yep.
well, but it's like bright, shiny,
Yeah. Yes.
like it almost looks fake,
Yeah.
So like he brought home, some stuff for me and my daughter, and I was like, it doesn't even look real. Like
Right.
this looks like costume jewelry almost,
Uh-huh.
but it is, and it's crazy how those different parts of the world even have different styles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, it's just different minerals interacting with that compound or
Okay.
what I don't know.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
They tried to explain it to me.
There's somebody out there that knows
It was
that,
in
though.
Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so here's a question. So you do remodels and you do from ground up,
Yes.
right? So new builds and remodels. Which do you prefer to do?
Okay, so new construction's I'm going to say it's a little bit easier. I mean, you're working off of architectural prints, so you kind of know where you're going. I enjoy the remodeling a little bit more because I do like the problem solving of it. With the remodels, I mean, if we're taking out a plastic shower pan, 9 times out of 10, we're going to have some mold and water damage. And so there's always something that has to be repaired that maybe the homeowner wasn't prepared for.
Yeah.
But we always preface every meeting like you've got to understand we don't know what's in the walls, So but I like that problem solving aspect of the remodeling. But new construction's fun too because
Yeah.
we're building something brand new, and especially with this job that we're doing, it's going to be a showstopper. And
For sure. 11 feet off the ground already. I mean,
Yeah.
and then how many stories?
just one.
Just
it's
one
just
sto-
one
oh,
story.
wow.
Yeah.
Is it
yeah,
going to
it's
have
just one story.
Is it going to have a sloped roof or is it going to have a flat roof?
It has a single slope roof.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a metal roof, but you really won't see it. There's going to be kind of like a parapet type wall.
Okay.
So you won't really see the roof at all. It's very, very modern, very square. We're using some really, really cool new materials. We've got like a it's similar to stucco, but it's called cork shield, and it's a spray. It's made from cork, the tree, the cork tree, and it has similar texture to stucco, but it doesn't crack like stucco does.
Oh, okay.
So and it's got a really great warranty on it, and you can just spray it down. It doesn't get dirty. It doesn't mold, and here, especially in the Houston area, stucco cracking is a huge issue. So
Well, I know one of the other issues with stucco around here is the moisture.
yeah.
Does it have the same issues as that?
Yeah, so what happens is as the house shifts, the stucco doesn't have any give to it. And so
Right.
it just kind of cracks. And those cracks can be very minuscule. I mean, you may not even know that they're there, but then you start getting that moisture behind the wall. And so, yeah, you end up with a lot of issues.
Yeah.
And so this cork spray, the cork shield spray it's a really cool product that we're going to be using.
There's certain houses I'll walk away from if they tell me they're dealing with certain issues and I see it's a stucco house. It's like, no, it's not even worth my time.
Yeah.
You're going to be more frustrated with me than you are the issue you're dealing with right now.
Yeah. But I mean, unfortunately, we have a ton of stucco houses around here. It's
We do. Yeah.
Everybody was like stucco, and that's all they did. So, yeah.
Well, here's a follow-up question to that then. I own a home, and I'm getting to the point where I either want to build a home, or maybe I just want to do like a full renovation. Where do you kind of start navigating that? At what point is it a better idea to do one or the other? Do you have any advice as far as that goes?
I think for a lot of people, it depends on the equity that they've built up in their home. I mean, if you already own your home and you've got a lot of equity in it, and two, it's also, do you love the area you're in? Do your kids go to a school they love? Do you want them to stay in the same house their whole life? It's a lot of kind of personal questions that you have to ask yourself. But then also some people want to build because they want to be on property, or they, want to have horses or, animals and stuff like that. And they can't do that, obviously, if they're in a neighborhood. So it's really those personal questions that you have to ask yourself. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to do the remodel because it's going to cost more than if you just went and bought another house. And we will advise people of that. We may say, look, you may need to just find another house that kind of fits the way your family's growing now. I certainly don't want to take someone's money and remodel their house and them not have enough value in it, because we are concerned about the return on investment of our remodels that we do. So we do try to advise our clients, if they're in a specific area, what types of fixtures and stuff like that they should be using to stay within the value of their neighborhood. So.
Yeah. I think those are all like really important questions to just on regular, ask yourself anyway. I mean, like, do I like the neighborhood?
Right.
Do I like the school? I mean, because like my wife was never interested in living on property.
Yeah.
And if you ask her now, like, you could give her $1 million home, and if it was right next to somebody else's house, she'd probably never take it.
Yeah.
Now that because she's realized that this is what she really likes, even though like she hated our house.
That's why you go and remodel it.
I fixed that problem.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Well, and that's probably one of the first questions I always ask someone is, how long are you going to stay here?
Yeah.
Are you remodeling this house so you can sell it next year? Then we're not going to do some crazy specific, custom tile treatment in the shower that not everybody's going to love. But if you think, hey, I don't know if I'm ever going to move from here, then that's when we can really kind of get really into the design factor and just like really just do something that you love. Because it's really about what you love. It's not about what I like or what the trend is or what's popular right now, any of those things. It's really about doing what you love, what you want to see in your home all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that we love to see in each of the homes is good plumbing. And the way you have good plumbing is you hire a good plumber.
Every time. If you want bad plumbing, don't hire Paul the plumber, because he will not do a bad job at your house. He will do the best job at your house.
They may call us about that one.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a good plug.
But regardless of what Kevin says, if you need to get a hold of them, you can find them on Facebook. You can also find them at paultheplumberllc.com. You can book them online. You can book them on Facebook and the ever popular virtual inspection.
Man, I'm telling you, to me, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
Because right now, what's crazy right now is that we're living in this world where everybody is feeling, at least here where we live in Texas, people are ready to get out and do things again.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're seeing some spikes in numbers and all of these sorts of things as far as people get infected with coronavirus. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of in this place. I don't really want people in my house yet. Even people, that I need in my house. Like if I need a plumber to come in, I want to minimize the amount of time he has to be in my home, right?
Yeah.
And those virtual visits, he has the opportunity to see exactly what your issue is, know that he has the parts on the truck, has an understanding of what he needs to do, and boom, he can get it done, get in, get out. It saves you money, saves you time,
Yep.
and you get a great job done by Paul the plumber.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So if you need to get a hold, call him at 832-521-3252. And our guest actually just had Paul.
I did. Paul
Jr.
Jr. was at my house.
Paul
yeah.
Jr.
Paul
What
Jr.
was going on?
Oh, I had some faucets that were, turn it on and it never turned off. So we had the other faucet do the same thing, and Paul the plumber fixed it for us. So I just texted Deborah and said, "Help me, please." So Paul Jr. came out. He knew exactly. I mean, it literally took him 30 minutes to fix it.
Nice.
Wow.
In and out, done. And now
Turns
I don't
off
have to
now.
share a sink with my husband. So.
So the marriage is going to make it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're good.
That's funny. That reminds me of that.
So look at that. Good plumbing saves marriage.
That's right. Yeah.
That's your headline.
Yeah. If your marriage is in the toilet, call Paul the plumber.
And he will install a bidet. And we're back.
There we go.
Rona
yeah.
mode. It's a Rona mode.
Rona mode.
Rona
The
mode.
Rona mode. That's right. Well, it reminds me of that video from Ricky with the faucet where she pulls
The
up
vegetable-
the vegetable sprayer. She pulls it up and the garbage disposal comes on.
Oh my God. Oh, I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember seeing that. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's pretty hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. She sees some crazy stuff on
Yeah.
inspection.
I just don't want to buy any house she's ever in. Because
Right.
she always finds the craziest stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
At least she finds it.
yeah.
That's the good thing, right?
yeah. So just crazy stuff. What were we talking about before?
Well, we were talking specifically about remodel versus build new, and I think you really hit on a really important thing there, and that is, what do you love about where you're living, and what do you really not love about where you're
Right.
living, and is the total cost going to wind up actually being better? So, but you hit on something that I was curious about. You said depending on how much equity you have in your home. So if you own your home, or if you're close to owning your home, do you think it makes more sense to stay at that point?
I mean, I think so, because then you have the equity there in your home. A lot of people are taking equity lines of credit to do the remodeling. So we see a lot of that in our industry. And I mean, if you're so close to owning your home already, and you want to do $100,000 remodel as opposed to selling and then going to build a new house. I mean, of course, you're going to get that equity when you sell, but at least you're still in the same place. You don't have to move. So, and sometimes the remodel is going to cost a lot less than what it would if you went to a new home. You may end up realizing that once you buy property or land, wherever the neighborhood is that you want, that you're going to really kind of like jack the price up a little bit. So, yeah. I mean, it's just a personal thing, and it really just depends on what you're feeling about that house.
And there's a lot of knowns about the place that you live, right? I mean, you've lived there especially if you're close to owning your home,
right?
Unless you came in and paid cash or something for
right.
it. There's a potential that it's like the more I know about something, the easier I can make a decision, and so
I mean, and your neighbors, so I mean, when you move to a new neighborhood, that's a new thing. It's like you don't know if you're like gonna build a house next to the crazy cat lady that you're gonna hate. So, and then you got to live next to her for 30 years. So.
That's right. Good luck. Good luck.
I unfortunately cannot check that out for you. So, I mean, if that was something I could do, knock on doors and be like, "Are you crazy?" Because if you are, then we don't want to build a house here.
How many cats do you own?
If you need some of those cats to disappear, I might be able to help with that.
Yeah, one of those signs that says "I swerve for cats."
I'm a professional nature kidnapper.
Okay, if you listen to our show and love cats, we love you.
Right. That's
right.
right.
We just
Not necessarily
We
your cats.
appreciate crazy cat people.
That's right.
We do not discriminate against cats or dogs. Dogs are better, though.
But we just know,
Just my personal opinion.
yeah, which happens to be the right one in this case.
Well, so what room in the house makes you most excited to kind of get your hands on?
Master bathrooms. I do a lot of master bathrooms. Yeah.
So what is it that you see a lot of people wanting to change about? I mean, if you're doing a lot of them, obviously people are unhappy with the one that they have. So what are they wanting to change? What are they trying to make feel different, look different?
So we kind of got into a thing, in the 80s and 90s where everyone wanted cultured marble. And you probably have seen it. It's like a plastic wall covering that's in your shower, and people really, really hate that. And so they're wanting to change that. And another thing we're seeing is, the kind of built-in tubs. A lot of people are wanting to do a freestanding tub. Kind of reminiscent of that clawfoot tub feeling, but not, a little bit more modern take on it.
Yeah. Those are cool too.
Yeah, and then of course everyone wants to raise the height of the sink, of the counters. They want to do the taller counters. I don't like that. I'm 5'4".
Okay.
And my husband has the tall counters, and I have the shorter regular ones. And I like the shorter ones because I am short. So.
Well, we compromised on that in our bathroom. So the countertop is still low, but I did one of those raised bowl sinks.
Oh, yeah.
So the sink itself is actually still high, but the countertop is normal.
Yeah.
So that was a little different. But so what else in the bathroom are you? So I was going to say the freestanding tubs. The ones I've been really interested in lately have you seen these Japanese soaking tubs? So instead, and it's sometimes they're made out of wood, and they almost look like a barrel.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But instead of being long for you to lay down in, they're deep and narrow.
Oh, so you sit in it?
Yeah.
I have not done that
You
yet.
haven't done that yet? So you can find it on Pinterest.
Can we do it in a whiskey barrel though instead?
It'd be a pretty big barrel.
How big an old boy are you?
Pretty big guy. Not gonna fit in I'm not Jim Hawkins over here. Peering out through the apple barrel. I mean, come on. But yeah, no, they're and they're usually freestanding.
Yeah.
But they just look, to me, they look really, and apparently they're really popular in Japan because they don't take up as much square footage in that room, which is why we were looking at them, because our bathroom's a little on the small side.
Yeah, that might work for some people because they still want to have that tub experience, but they want larger showers. That's the better thing.
Well, good luck washing your feet.
Right.
What do you
You'll
do?
drown.
You got to put your foot up by your head and get out of the soaker.
I don't know, honestly. I mean, because they have a seat in them
I think it's more for relaxing. It's probably not
for bathing
a
as much.
cleansing
Yeah.
They
type
use the
thing.
hose outside for everything else. I understand. I get
You could use the bidet to wash your feet.
Stick your foot in there.
Hey, I'll do whatever I got to.
Turn the pressure to high.
That's right.
It would be warming too because the bidets do have warming water. So, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they have all
I'm
kinds of
rethinking
features.
this whole thing.
They have lights on them so you can see. You don't have to turn the light on.
If Tushy's not a sponsor of this show after this episode,
right.
I don't know what else to do.
I mean, we've done everything we know to do.
We're advocating for the bidet.
That's
Come
right.
on.
Right. I'm going to send this episode to them.
We fired all our bullets.
No.
We got to change subjects. Because I got visual
Stuck on
ideas in my head.
Well, and so you did mention I think I think you're right. The freestanding tub with the combo walk-in shower.
Right, yeah.
So what are you kind of seeing with people doing different with their showers? I mean,
Oh gosh, showers are kind of one of those things where it's really a personal thing. So
I've seen some crazy stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we've done multiple hand showers and rain shower heads and body sprays and.
When you say body sprays, is that the multiple nozzles from a
Yeah,
bunch of different directions?
yeah, and they're all kind of positioned, lower than your head. So yeah, but
I see those and I think, what value does that have?
Well, it kind of
other
has like a
than just-
massaging effect to it, kind of
Okay.
like a jacuzzi tub would, if you've got
okay.
that water kind
Okay.
of squirting out.
And like they
that.
usually have like diverters on them where you can turn them on and
yeah,
off.
yeah,
With,
yeah. You can, decide how many, if you want all of them. It just depends on how you have your plumbing
Yeah.
done.
which can get complicated.
it can, and it gets expensive too. So, that's one thing we have to kind of think about when we're talking about budget is how intense do we need to make the shower?
Yeah, but Paul the plumber
What is
can
your budget?
give you a great
Yes, that's right.
quote
Yes.
and price.
Yes.
And
Definitely.
yeah, all that.
Yeah. So I mean, we did a shower, and it was a Harvey flood, and that shower was 8 feet by 8 feet.
Oh.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it had the rain head, 2 shower heads, 2 hand showers. So, and I mean, 2 benches, 2 big, huge benches in there. So
That's
I
a
mean,
family size shower.
it's a
right
huge
there.
shower. It was
Yeah.
a huge shower.
It's like a mud and
So yeah. That's a closet. I mean, that's bigger than a lot of other
I
rooms
think
in
my
the house.
son's room is smaller than that.
Really?
He's got a pretty small room.
Oh,
It's small.
he's not the favorite.
Well,
Does he
he's
listen to the show?
No, he's
Jeez.
he's the smallest in our house.
Okay.
Obviously, we give people's rooms based on their size.
Size. Okay.
Who doesn't do that? I'm so confused right now.
I don't know. I have one daughter, so she gets, well, other than us getting the master bedroom, but she thinks she should have a master bedroom.
Of
so,
course, don't
know.
they all?
Yeah.
Well, that's
She's a good kid,
That's
though.
a trend I've seen is where they like a lot of houses. What do they call that? Is like
A double master.
A double master.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like one upstairs, one downstairs.
Yeah.
So that kind of tends to be. I mean, it's like live-in in-law quarters or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah. And people do have that because they are thinking, what about my parents? What's going to happen if you lose one parent and then you have, one that's still here? A lot of times a big house is too much for one, even if it's a husband or a wife, that's
Yeah.
a lot for one person to take care of. So you can see a lot of like what we call a casita, which is like a mother-in-law house, where they have like their own small space, but they're still connected to the home, or like you're saying, a double master bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone today, and you actually know a relative of this person, Craig, but they built
Decipher
this.
who this is.
Yeah, no, you won't. You
How
won't be able to-
mysterious.
You won't be able to.
Do they
figure it
wear
out.
glasses?
Maybe.
21 questions. We're going to figure out who this is right now.
So their family built this house, and the upstairs has 2 bedrooms, a bath, and a living area, and an outside entrance. So the idea was now there's also inside entrance. I mean,
Right.
you can get there both ways, but the idea was my kids are going to grow up, and they're going to maybe go to college in a similar area so they can have their own space.
Right.
So there's a lot of design things like that you're not going to get if you just go buy a house.
Yeah.
If you want something special like that, you're going to have to get a
Yeah.
custom built home.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's very rare. I mean, there are some houses that may have like a garage apartment or something like that. But yeah, we do see a lot of that where people are just adding on, even if they have a house that they really love and they have, 3 kids or 1 on the way or something like that. And then they're like, we're just outgrowing this house, but we really, really love it. So, let's do an addition. We're working with a client in the Woodlands now that her mom, lives by herself, and she wants her to come live with her, but she wants her to have her own space. So, she's going to have basically like a little apartment that's attached to the house where she can come and go into the house, but they can also kind of, go to their separate quarters whenever they want to and still have privacy.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, especially with older parents, they don't want to feel like they're a burden, which is crazy because they've taken care of us and now they feel like a burden. But they don't want to have that feeling. But you're right. Even with teenagers that are in college, we've thought about that with our daughter. She's 17, and if she wants to go to school near here, we always want her to have a place to even just come home to during the summer and still have her own privacy. Because if you think your kid goes away for a semester to school and then they come back and now they're living under your house for the summer, it's a totally different experience.
Yeah. My folks actually did that when I left for college. They had put on an apartment in the garage.
Yeah.
And it was very clear that I was not welcome back in the home.
They did that for themselves, not for you.
You can come visit, but that's where you're staying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had the house that I lived in Arkansas. There was a really nice shed in the back. It was a metal building, and it was insulated and paneled on the inside. And so we went ahead and put an air conditioner on it, and so it was heated and cooled and everything. And my mother-in-law made a joke one day. She thought it was a joke. She said, that'd make a perfect mother-in-law quarters. To which I said, that sounds great. Like, anytime you come visit, you can sleep out there. She didn't think it was funny, though. So, anyway, I slept out there for the next week.
That's right.
There wasn't even a bed, but whatever. It was fine.
Cold
There's
concrete
hay.
floor.
You were just like Jesus.
I was just giving her what she wanted. She didn't. She
didn't go for it.
No. So, anyway, what have we not talked about that you think might be important for people to know?
Of course, you're going to ask me this really, out of all the things in the world that I could possibly tell people, what is it that you need to know? I would just say, kind of trust your contractor. You've got to find a trusted contractor. Do your research. Make sure you're Googling your contractor. I mean, that's a big deal. I'm working with several clients right now who have been
put through the ringer
by other contractors, and I'm having to go in and fix their stuff. So, make sure you do your research. A reputable contractor is going to have a website. They're going to have a Facebook page. They're going to be able to give you information about their general liability insurance. They're going to have references. So ask those questions and don't be afraid to really interview your contractor.
Yeah.
I've lived in the Conroe area my entire life. My parents live here. Both my sisters live here. I'm not going anywhere. So then that's something that I always talk to my clients about. I'm a Conroe native. So,
Go look me up in the yearbook.
That's right. But, also asking about their subcontractors as well. Who do you use? Make sure you're using somebody that has trusted subcontractors. You don't want just anybody in your house, because as a general contractor, I can't be on site all day.
Sure.
I have 11 projects right now. So there's no way I can be at every single one of them, even every day.
Yeah.
And so, you just kind of have to know that there are going to be people in your house whenever your contractor's not there. And you just really need to make sure that they have trusted people. And I do, my guys have worked for me for quite some time. And, it's a little different with me being a female, because I do have to be with these people alone. So that kind of already tells you that they're trusted if I feel comfortable with them.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's actually a really good point.
But I don't let anybody in somebody's house that I wouldn't let in my own house.
There you go.
So
I'm actually curious as to what is one of the most unique things you've put in or done in somebody's home?
Oh gosh.
You thought my question was better.
I know, right? Y'all are really making me think here. So this was actually a project I did as a designer with another contractor, and we actually, the house when this client bought the house, it had a jukebox.
Okay.
And it was kind of one of those rounded jukebox, and it had its own little cubby hole under the stairs that was like a rounded cubby hole for it. And so the contractor took a 100-year-old beam from a house that he had just torn down and cut it up so that you could make a door on it. So we had this removable door, because it was right in the living room. So it's kind of weird to have like a jukebox in your living room. But, it was a neat feature in the home. So we kind of put this really cool door on there so that you could remove the door and play the jukebox when you wanted to, and then put it back.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Was it like an old LP jukebox?
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
it still worked?
Yeah.
That's
It was
cool.
fantastic. It was really awesome. Yeah. It was great. It had all the kind of cool neon kind of lights on it and
Yeah.
everything. It was a really neat feature.
That's honestly the only thing I don't like about jukeboxes is like the neon.
Yeah.
That's like,
Well, and it's cool when you were playing it though, but
yeah.
like when,
at somebody else's place.
right. Yeah. You don't, not something you want to see all
the
the time.
honky tonk, it's fine.
Yeah.
In my house, it's
Yeah.
float your boat. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's actually that trend is really kind of coming back to own a jukebox. There are a lot of people out there that are refurbishing jukeboxes,
Mm-hmm.
and they can get really pricey.
Yeah.
Even just vinyl records. I mean, my daughter has a record player
Yeah.
and she buys vinyl records.
Yeah.
That's a big deal for her.
Well, like this
So.
this Zenith that you're sitting in front of right here. I mean, that's an old 45.
Oh, yeah.
And like it's crazy to try and fix those. I mean, that's a tube powered 45 radio, and like you can't buy parts for
Yeah.
that thing anymore.
Yeah.
No.
It's crazy expensive to try and fix those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's hard to even find them, let alone fix them.
yeah. So I mean, all I've gotten that one to do is light up.
Which you don't want it to light up. So you've already said you hate that.
Well, no,
On that one, it's okay.
That one, it's okay. It's like I like that look. I
Okay.
don't like, but when it's like all neon and
Yeah.
yellow and purple
Yeah.
and
Says Bud Light.
yeah, not gonna have bad beer and bad lights.
Exactly. It's a double whammy.
Yeah. Sorry, you Bud Light drinkers.
Yes.
I love
me
you too. You can hang out with the cat lady.
That's funny. Well, cool. Well, and this has been a really good episode. I've really enjoyed hearing from, especially when it comes to contractors specifically,
Right.
not just tradespeople, but contractors specifically. It's rare to find a female influence.
Yeah.
And so it's really wonderful to see how successful you're being in this, and that's exciting for
Yeah.
us to hear that, but also just to hear the perspective of a female is really refreshing
Yeah.
for us.
It is a little different. I mean, I won't say it makes me a better contractor. There are some fantastic contractors out there.
Sure.
So I do listen a little bit more. And I think that's the one thing that I could, if I had every male contractor out there, that's the biggest thing I hear from my clients is we're so glad we have you because you listen.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the clients feel like if you're not listening, you're not really taking in what it is they want. You're just there to do the job and get out.
Yeah.
And so you really have to want to take the time to get to know your client and really learn a little bit about them. So, I always say it doesn't make me better. It just makes me different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there are certain things that, I just do because that's my personality.
Yeah.
I really enjoy my clients.
Well, and I would imagine, and I'm guessing here, but I would imagine most of your clients that you end up dealing with are female.
Yeah, I usually do end up dealing with the wife.
Yeah.
That's usually how it works.
And because I've heard so many women tell me that they had such a hard time dealing with their contractor for the very reasons that you're talking about.
Right.
Like they couldn't connect. And I imagine you kind of have an advantage in that regard, that most remodels end up dealing with, the woman of the house.
Right.
Or, so.
And it's hard sometimes when I walk in and they see this 5'4" blonde, the husbands are like, well, we're gonna see how much she knows, and so they start kind of asking me technical questions and once
Which is hilarious because they have no idea what they're
yeah,
talking
no, they have no
about.
clue because I'm thinking if you know all this, then why am
are
I
you-
here?
Exactly, yeah.
But once they hear me talk and they realize, okay, she does know what she's talking about a little bit,
Yeah.
then that's when they kind of give it up and let the wife kind of make the decisions. And really, I like to work with both. I like to work with the husband
Sure.
and the wife. Sometimes I say I'm a marriage counselor as well because it's like the man's like, I want carpet in the bedroom. And the wife's like, no, I don't want carpet. So it's like
Yeah.
we really have to kind of like, sometimes I'm like, just give him what he wants and, we'll get it back somewhere else. We'll make a good compromise so
Yeah.
that you guys get both of what you want.
Hardwood with a rug.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's what I always say. I was like, put a rug down, and then the husband's like, I don't know about this. I'm like, trust me, it'll be fine. Yeah. So, but it's a difficult position to be in, but I love what I do. So I'm passionate about it, and it's fun for me. I have fun doing this. I mean, it's not it's stressful.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm tearing people's houses up, and then I'm standing in the middle of it going, oh, okay, yeah, I got to put this all back. But we figure it out every single time. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, good. Well, we would be horrible at what we do if we let you go without doing what everybody loves about this show. The thing that they just wait for and wait for, and that is the Final Four.
The Final Four.
That's right. So these are the Final Four questions that we ask all of our guests every time they come in, and you are not going to escape it. So
Okay.
By we mean Kevin.
yeah. Well, that's just because Craig doesn't know
He doesn't remember the
He doesn't remember the questions.
He does not. So we're going to start off easy. They get harder from here.
Okay.
But here you go. What is the must-have tool that you will not leave your house without?
I would like to say a tape measure because that's like contractor 101. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten to a job site and I'm like, dang it. Where's the tape measure? So I'm always asking the guys, do you have a tape measure? Do you have a tape measure? So I would say that, tape measure is very, very important in my job. I use it all the time. I just forget it. So
There you go.
but there's always a guy there that has one.
Oh, yeah.
There's always somebody. And if not, they're like, I have one. I have one in my truck. So I'm like, oh, okay, go get that
There
for
we
me.
go.
Yeah. You.
There's
over
always
there.
a tape measure somewhere.
Yeah. Well, good. No, that's good. One of my favorite. So my realtor, one of my favorite things, and this is not the answer she would have given, but like she had a marble with her all the time.
That's
Because-
Brandy. That was like episode,
Oh, yeah. So you can
yeah.
see if the floors are.
What episode was that?
Oh, it was
that-
fairly early. I mean, we're probably the teens,
Yeah.
or whatever we had her on. But yeah, she had a marble with her, so she could put it down and see whether or not,
Yeah.
whether or not the floor was
Floors
level.
were level,
It it was brilliant.
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. No, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
All right. So here's a second question.
Okay.
All right. What's a job you've walked away from? So again, we've already told you the
Yes.
caveat. It could be a career, or it could be maybe a project around your house. So what's a job you've walked away from?
Okay. So, I mean, it's not necessarily a career, but I, in a past life, was a bartender.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So we should have made cocktails. I could have made like a really cool drink for this show.
How's your old fashioned?
Oh, pretty good. Yeah. Yeah.
We can be friends.
Yes. So,
Okay.
yeah, I was a bartender for, actually, that's how I met my husband. We both worked at Bennigan's.
Okay.
I was a
Back
server.
when those existed.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I loved Bennigan's.
Yes, I know, right? They had the best baked potato soup. But anyways, yeah, so that's where I met my husband. I was a server and he was a bartender. And then I eventually moved up to bartending. And then for a short period of time, I was the manager of a bar.
Oh.
So yeah. So it's not that I walked away from it because it was a terrible job, but it's just,
Sure.
it's fun. I love bartending. I love talking to people and seeing how drunk they can get.
Some people, it's a lot easier
Yeah,
than others.
that's right. That's true.
Well, so here we'll do this. We'll shout out my sister because
Absolutely.
she just opened a new bar restaurant.
Oh, cool.
Downtown called Sixes and Sevens.
Awesome.
Super cool place. It was like open what was it, like phase 1 or something like
Wow.
25%. That was
As soon
their
as they
opening.
could.
That was opening day.
That was opening.
Wow.
And it was I mean, like it was
That's
fantastic.
awesome.
So
That's cool.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Look it out.
Yeah, go check it out for sure.
Cool.
6s and 7s downtown Houston.
I still got to take you, Kev.
Yeah,
So-
I've not been. I've just heard. I've seen pictures. It looks amazing. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got a trip planned.
You should do
Yes.
a show there.
There we go.
Well, that's best idea.
Now we
we've
can
heard.
write it off.
That's right. That's right.
Nobody said that. The IRS is listening, then we're in big trouble.
We'd have to make money before that was possible.
That is so true. That reminds me of a Seinfeld episode.
I don't know. You can write things off even if you're not making money. That actually makes better sense for yourself.
Hey, Kramer just said, "Hey, I don't know what it is. They're the ones writing it off."
Right.
I don't know. All right, third question.
Okay.
How do you wind down at the end of a long day?
I really just like to be at home. Just to be at home with my husband and my daughter and we just sit and watch TV. We kind of Netflix something and just watching TV and just doing nothing, because it seems like I'm pretty busy, crazy all the time, running around and driving and seeing people and talking. And so, yeah, it's really just about just hanging out.
So what's at the top of the queue on the old Netflix?
Oh gosh, right now I'm watching Person of Interest.
Yeah. Is that the Jim Caviezel? Is that who that is?
I don't remember his name. I know I know exactly who it is. I just can't. Is that his name?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't have any clue what his name is. I've
So
never even seen him before.
apparently none of us read people.
Yeah, no,
I think we
no,
just-
I don't have time for that.
Yeah, we don't even like people.
Right?
Why would you read about it? That's just a joke. I really do like people.
So I've heard of the show. I don't know what it's about.
Oh, so it's like this man makes a government machine that basically watches everybody on every camera that's ever out there, and he gets a social security number every so often, and then the guy that's like ex-military special forces, he like goes out and tries to save that person. So.
Okay, so I think the guy that made the machine, I haven't seen the show, but I think somebody was telling me, I think the guy that made the machine was like the weird, crazy guy off of Lost.
That's who it is.
And then the other guy is Jim Caviezel, the guy that played Jesus.
Oh,
Well,
see, I didn't.
maybe you're right.
I did not
From The
connect all
Passion.
this stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I can play the Kevin Bacon game. I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah, I'm trying to read now on the internet who it is here.
You doing the googly?
I'm doing the googly.
Googling.
And so I don't know. Your internet's slow, man. I don't know.
Just trust me, I'm right. All right. It's Jim Caviezel.
Wow,
he played
they have
Jesus.
a huge write-up on that
Yeah, they
show.
do.
Well, it does have like 6 seasons.
Does
or
it
something.
really?
Yeah, and each season has like, I don't know, 25 episodes.
What season are you in?
I think I'm in 3.
Is it good?
It kind of gets predictable.
Okay.
But I'm one of those people that like, I started this, I gotta finish it. Like, I have to. Although I will say, like, we were watching How to Get Away with Murder. Man, and that show just got. I mean, you'd watch one episode and you're like, I'm so confused. I don't know what's going on, but I have got to watch it again. Like, I just got to keep watching it. So, yeah.
Well, it is Jim Caviezel.
There you go. You did it.
He doesn't know much, but whenever he's spot on every once in a while.
Even a blind squirrel finds an acorn every once in a while.
That's right. All right. Last question, 4th question. So, what's one of the best pieces of wisdom or advice you've ever received?
Oh, okay. So I had a former boss who said, if you make a mistake, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You learn from it. If you don't learn from it, then it's not a mistake anymore.
Oh.
So she would always tell us she knew we were going to mess up on something.
Right.
It was going to happen. But the lesson is to learn from it and not make that mistake again. So I've kind of remodeling is like that. I mean, mistakes happen, things happen. And, I'll tell my clients, I'm not going to say we're not going to make a mistake, but we will fix it.
Yeah.
So, a lot of times people will freak out. They'll be texting me at like 9:00 at night. They painted the bathroom blue. We said we didn't want it blue. And I'm like, it's okay. Just, it was a mistake.
Absolutely.
But we'll paint it purple if that's what you want.
That's almost how I always evaluate people in general. It's not whether or not you make a mistake.
Right.
I know you're going to make a mistake.
Right.
It's how you respond to the mistake.
Yeah.
Well,
and in our industry, it kind of takes some of the pressure off, especially if you're new. I was a new person to that job, and I was just like on pins and needles all the time. Like I was scared, that I was going to screw something up. And so when she said that, it was like, oh. I still tried to make sure I didn't make a mistake, but I at least knew she wasn't going to fire me right off the bat when it happened. Now, of course, if you did make that same mistake again, then that wasn't kosher. You needed to, you got to learn from it. So,
yeah, absolutely.
and so that's what I do. Even with my projects, if something doesn't go right, I'm like, okay, what did we learn from this? How can we do better? What can we do differently on the next project so that we can make sure that doesn't ever happen again, and just really make sure that we're progressing as a company, and that we're always learning, because that's really what construction's about. I mean, it's learning. I learn something new on every single project.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not an expert in everything. I can't be. That's why we have licensed plumbers and electricians. I mean, they spend a lot of time, learning their trade and their skills. So there are some things where I just turn to my licensed people and I say, give me the lowdown on what's going on here. So, but it's a learning experience. And so I always try to learn from every single project that we do.
Yeah. And there's even things that you do that aren't mistakes, but like just evaluating.
Right. Yeah.
And reconsidering can improve.
Right.
And so like that's just being honest with yourself and going, could I do this better?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Being a real introspective person is a quality that you don't necessarily have until you really foster that.
Right.
Being introspective,
Yeah. Well, and, sometimes I call them happy mistakes. I mean, sometimes we make a mistake and I'm like, oh, this is going to turn out way better than we thought it was going to.
Yeah.
Because this opened up an avenue for something that we didn't think about. I was just at a client's house today and we had an issue with, the way that the house was built. Obviously, I can't do anything about that because I didn't build it. But with the way that the valve for the shower was in the wall, and we just had this, we knew we were going to have this space where the trim was not going to go right up against the tile, and we had like sunk it back as far as we could. But we came up with like a really great idea of how we could, add some more tile and some decorative trim and stuff to really finish it out. And that happened probably 4 weeks ago when we did that. And today I was in there and I was just kind of evaluating where we were for punch out. And I looked over at it and I thought, oh my gosh, that just turned out so great. And we wouldn't have had that otherwise because we wouldn't have thought to do that. And, I even told the client, I was like, I think I'm going to intentionally do that on another project because it actually turned out so beautiful.
Wow.
So, yeah, and we always say that's a happy mistake,
Yeah.
It wasn't really a mistake. We couldn't do anything about it, but
Is what
whatever.
It is.
It happened.
Yeah. It was the situation we had to deal with.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. Well, we do actually have a fifth question.
Okay.
Ooh, and I get to ask this one.
Yeah.
I remember this one.
Yes, every time he remembers this one.
How do people get a hold of you if they want to find you?
Okay, so I am at expressivebuilders.com.
Mm-hmm.
I am on Facebook at Expressive Builders, on Instagram at Expressive Builders as well.
No Twitter. You see that, Kev?
No Twitter.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
she's just smarter than we are.
Get that Twitter out of here.
And nobody
Yeah.
likes it. Nobody really likes Twitter. It's a necessary evil sometimes. But even then, what's the point?
It's just everybody flipping the bird.
Yeah.
That's
I never got into Twitter, so.
Did you see what he did there? Were you paying attention?
Yeah.
Every once in a while, he says something that's clever. That was it. That was it for today.
That was the one clever thing he said this entire
whole
time,
show.
right? Wow.
All right. Well, seriously, I said this earlier. Thank you for coming and spending time with us. And I know that this has been helpful for me and Craig, and I'm sure it has been for a lot of different people. So
I'm reflecting on all the mistakes I've made.
That's going to take
Just
a while.
don't make them again. That's all that matters.
We don't have enough time in the show to reflect on all of his mistakes. All right. Well, like I said, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And we're going to be putting this out on a Tuesday because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Every single Tuesday,
Awesome.
we have a new episode. And, we just really want to tell our listeners, thank you guys for sticking with us, for, downloading this episode and other episodes. Now, I tell you what, we have really upped our video game recently, Craig.
Yes.
And so if you are not checking us out on YouTube, that's your own fault. You need to go check us out on YouTube, see how ugly we actually are,
Yeah.
see how long this beard can actually get, this mustache, before we actually, my wife cuts it off in my sleep or something.
I'm really afraid you're going to tie somebody to some railroad tracks.
Well,
He's the prospector.
So, go check us out on YouTube and subscribe there. Click
Yes.
the notification bell because we've got some little clips that we put out every once in a while that you'll probably want to check out.
If you have a lower attention span, we've been putting the clips out.
Yeah. So anyway, check us out.
Which,
like
if
I
you
said,
haven't seen the what was the name of that one? Weirdest thing you've ever cleaned.
yes,
That's hilarious.
it is absolutely hilarious. So go check it out on YouTube. So just type in the Homeowner Show. We will pop up. And so, check us out. Thanks for subscribing. If you have not already, go ahead and do that. But until next time, we will see you later.
See ya.